Hi, everyone. So Trump appointed a guy named Bill Pulte, who is a lunatic, who is, very busy with, who's very made himself very busy with seeking revenge for the village idiot Donald Trump over the last 2 year and a half to be his acting director of national intelligence. We're going to talk about that today, and the other story we're going to talk about today is the uh, the incompetent folks that are involved in Trump's planning of and preparation and implementation of his ridiculous 250-year America celebrations. Clearly screwed up and somehow had an accident and released 30 gallons of oil underneath the National Mall into sort of these reservoirs under the mall and are blaming it on vandals. It's really something. Before we get into this, let's do this live. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch today. And of course, we're on Substack. So let me bring up let me just check and make sure we're actually working on all those platforms. You just bear with me. And then we will get into it. It's going to be a short live today. Just about 20 minutes. We're not going to go too long today. We're looking. It's going to be a short live. Looking good on Substack. Let's check Twitch. Twitch, it looks okay, but I think let me just stop the sound on there. And lastly, let's see if we're actually streaming through on YouTube today or not. I've had problems with YouTube. No fault of YouTube. It's that I just don't know what I'm doing. Maybe it's working. I'm not terribly optimistic. Oh, it is halfway working. Okay, I'm just testing my YouTube stream. Nope. I have had some problems with it. Nope. I did a YouTube stream earlier today, and I had it working, but that was then, my friends, and this is now. And now isn't then, now is now, and then was then. So, there's that. Okay. No sense in worrying about it. Don't have time. I will work on it again later. Thank you, my friends. So let's just get to it. Anyway, let me just get rid of YouTube because there's no point in having it up here since I'm streaming to it, but not streaming to it. Okay, let's just get right to it. So the village idiot Donald Trump, there's been plenty of news about which, we'll cover in a different time. There's certainly plenty of coverage about it, about the idiot's slush fund for criminals that he wants to pay them, and him walking away from it because Republicans walked away from it, pushing back against a stupid fucking ballroom and all the other nonsense. But the stories I want to cover, one story jumped out to me that I haven't been watching legacy media today, mainstream media, but I just feel like it's not getting very much attention at all. Maybe it is, and maybe I'm just out of the loop. But it's getting a lot of attention here in my little office in New Jersey. That's where it's getting attention. I don't know if it's getting attention anywhere else. You can see the headline here at NBC News. Trump names Bill Pulte acting director of national intelligence to replace Tulsi Gabbard. Now, I would not hold you accountable if you didn't know who Bill Pulte was. But you will, I would imagine. You will get... Patty Ann, I am checking, but I think my husband has to sit in meetings with Bill Pulte. Really? And he was not a fan of his. Wow. I know Pulte was, and I'll get into this in a little bit later, but I know Pulte, he's the grandson of Mr. Pulte, whoever he is, which is part of the big Pulte construction company. And I assume Bill was an executive just through pure nepotism in the company. He sat on a couple of other boards over the years until the village idiot Donald Trump brought him in during the second administration as I can't think of the name of the department. He was in the department that oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, like an $11 trillion department. It's like I can't think of the name of it, but anyway, which kind of makes sense. But that's not what Pulte did when he was. It's not Pulte. What Pulte was actually. Pulte, to my knowledge, hasn't really done anything in that department. Pulte, when we think of the absurdity of this lunatic being given this job, it's terrifying. It's as hysterically funny as it is potentially catastrophically terrifying. So, Pulte, what he's famous for now, or infamous for, is not being a member of the Pulte family and being some, really good executive in the home building industry, right? Or whatever boards he was on, whatever things he was involved with. I mean, at least that's not why I know him, right? He might be perfectly successful in those fields, but I don't know him that way. I know Bill Pulte as the sociopathic, Trump loving, sycophantic weirdo who has been on a mission. And he's one of two people. The other people was a lawyer who was a U.S. attorney for a while. I can't think of his name, but he's one of two people who have been obsessed with seeking revenge for the village idiot and new Lord and Master, Donald John James Jesus Christ Trump. Pulte has been on a revenge tour. And I'm going to say some names that you'll know. If you've been following, this channel, or if you've been following the news, you'll know these names. Letitia James, Attorney General of New York. Jim Comey, former FBI director. Adam Schiff, current U.S. Senator, former Congressman. Now, what do these three have in common with a few others? They have all been, to a limited and incredibly unsuccessful extent, prosecuted by the Department of Justice, by Trump's Department of Justice. They've all been revenge prosecutions. Every one of them has failed. The only one that's kind of sitting out there is James Comey's most recent one, where, the Seychelles prosecution, where he posted the picture of 8647 in Seychelles, and they're saying that was a threat to the president, which is, comical, and it will go nowhere. But some of the other, attempted prosecutions, they're laughable because they're so fucking ridiculous. The three I mentioned, and there's a couple of more, came from this jackass, Bill Pulte. And what Pulte did was he decided in his position, and again, I cannot think of the name of the agency, the federal... Fungul. It has to do with real estate and homes. It's the agency that manages Freddie Mae and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I can't think of the name of it. But what he did do, nothing of any value, for home buying and mortgages and anything else in the United States. What he did do was find pretend mortgage fraud from Letitia James and pretend mortgage fraud from Adam Schiff. And I'm pretty sure James Comey's first, indictment from these idiots was also pretend mortgage fraud, and there's a few others where Pulte found all these pretend mortgage fraud. And of course, the laughable comedy of that whole ridiculous situation is mortgage fraud is exactly what the village idiot Donald Trump did over and over again when he inflated, before he became president of the United States, and God knows what the fuck he's done since he's been president of the United States. But before, when he would inflate the values of his properties to get illegal loans from banks like Deutsche Bank and others, and then he would deflate the value of those properties, to get better terms on his taxes and pay less tax or pay no taxes. So he'd use his mortgages, or loans to make it look like his properties were worth more money to get other mortgages or loans that he could borrow against those from banks over and over and over again, which is against the law. And then for those same properties, he would tell the IRS they were worth a little bit of money. They couldn't possibly be worth a lot of money. Are they crazy? So obviously the irony is, and the hypocrisy is that Pulte, found fake mortgage fraud claims that he referred to the Department of Justice. That would have been Pam Bondi at the time. She was the Attorney General at the time, and Todd Blanche was the Deputy Attorney General. But he would refer to those sociopaths, and then because they have to, and because they follow the orders of the village idiot Donald Trump, no matter what it is, they went and attempted to prosecute, and in their hopes, try to investigate when possible, indict, and then hope to get a conviction, and none of that happened or will happen. So this vindictive prick now, who clearly was unqualified for the last job he had, well, he's now the acting director of national intelligence. Let me repeat that to you again, because you might have missed that in the news today. This buffoon is now the acting director of national intelligence. Tulsi Gabbard's job. You remember Tulsi Gabbard? Tulsi Gabbard was bad enough. Tulsi Gabbard was a ridiculous Trump sycophant. She was pathetic, but you could at least accept that she wasn't completely unqualified for the job. She was one of the rare people in the Trump administration who, although she had to act like a buffoon, because you have to act like a buffoon to be a member of the Trump cabinet, and she had to leave her intelligence, and she's a bright, bright person, but she had to leave her intelligence at the door because that's the only way you can operate in that space, because nobody can be smarter than Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is the stupidest person in America. So you really have to devalue your intelligence when you work for that imbecile, and you have to be sycophantic and loyal to a fault. She was mostly all of those things. Obviously not enough, because she's now gone. And she's gone for a plethora of reasons. I believe that she left because her husband, has a very rare form of cancer, and I wish him healing well and health. But I also am sure that there was plenty of reporting to suggest that she was on her way out, because maybe she just couldn't quite bring, maybe her conscience and whatever was left of her intellect, whatever she allowed to be intact, maybe she just couldn't. And she was a congresswoman for 10 years. And she understood intelligence matters before she went pretend crazy and became, a complete Trump nut job. But at least when you're talking about the agency that is responsible for the NSA, right? For other, other intelligence agencies. At domestic intelligence agency, the only intelligence agency she's not responsible for is the CIA. That's John Radcliffe. But otherwise, she is responsible for all of our counterterrorism efforts, protecting the homeland, partnering up with the lunatic Mark Wayne Mullen, who's now the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, right? So at least Tulsi was mildly capable, and there was at least would be a hope. There at least might be an inkling that she might possibly be capable of making an informed decision if things got really bad. And if the village idiot ordered her to do like the worst thing in the world, whatever that is. I just felt like with Tulsi, there might be a chance that she might stand up to him, or at least if she didn't stand up to him, she'd actually understand what she was doing, and she might try to find a way to lessen the blow. She would understand the implications of her actions, right? And maybe that would be beneficial somehow for, I don't know, the safety and security of the American people. Well, with the immense power that office holds, that agency holds, now we have this putz, right? I can't think of enough ridiculous names to come up with for this putz, right? Because this putz, whose qualifications for the job include being a Nepo baby for his grandfather that created a home construction empire, being a friend of the idiot who is the president of the United States, and being willing to make every effort he can to try to get the people that the idiot, the village idiot, the people that the village idiot doesn't like, thrown in jail. That is his qualifications to be the acting director of national intelligence. Now, he may not get. It's a Senate confirmed position, but and of course this dunce may not get confirmed, especially since the Senate is pushing back now, finally, on the village idiot Donald Trump. But to have an acting director, that doesn't require immediate confirmation. I don't know. You'll have to look it up. I feel like it's 45 or 120 days. I don't know. I don't know how long this dunce can, remain in this position before, he has to be brought before this Senate. I guess I don't know. I don't know which committee. Wouldn't be maybe the Homeland Security Committee? I don't know. The Oversight Committee? I don't know which committee would interview him before the full Senate would vote on his confirmation. But whatever that amount of days is, Crazy Pants is free until then to do whatever the fuck he wants and whatever the imbecile in the White House instructs him to do. And that's really scary. That department has full power through the NSA and through other intelligence agencies, probably intelligence agencies we've never even heard of, to spy on any one of us. They could initiate prosecutions on any one of us with the Department of Justice. This is really a scary moment. And I haven't had an opportunity to watch mainstream media right now. I don't know how they're covering this, if they're covering this, but this is really, really, really the next to drunken Pete Hegseth, who is obviously we see the catastrophe of putting an unqualified, semi-functional, wife abusing, white nationalist, alcoholic in charge of a department who also was a weekend Fox News host, to be able to put a fool like that in charge of our Department of Defense, where the military was a weapon he could cosplay, super tough guy warrior with. We see the catastrophic consequences of that fucking incompetent decision by the Senate Republicans to cowardly vote to confirm that buffoon. This is the second scariest thing to me yet. Is that goofball, that goofy looking putz. And I'm only calling him so many names. He could be a perfectly nice guy, just with a Trump fetish who will go after anybody Donald wants him to go after. But I feel so infuriated. I feel so appalled by the absurdity of this decision and the danger that this puts us in, and the fact that Senate Republicans have allowed us to achieve this moment. I feel so that I'm just expressing that by just thinking of every name under the sun I can call this guy, because it's the only way it's therapy for me right now. Patty Ann, my husband just wrote me back laughing and said, yes, he has met Bill Pulte and has stories. Patty Ann, I don't know. I would love to hear them. So if your husband wants to share them and they are things that he feels comfortable sharing publicly, let's set that up. Okay, because God, I can't even imagine what we're in for. I can't even begin to wrap my brain around what we might be in for with this, with this particular character doing what he, in this position. Anyway, let me shut up and just read some of the reporting to you guys. Hey, Catherine, how are you? Pulte, a close Trump ally who serves as director of the federal. Actually, you know what? Let me move this over here so I don't have to look away from you guys. Hopefully, I'll be able to read the text. We'll see. We'll give it a try and see if it's an epic failure. I think I can do this. Pulte, a close Trump ally who serves as director of Federal Housing Finance. Okay, so that's the name of his department, Federal Housing Finance Agency. And that's all. That's the agency. I think it's like an $11 trillion agency that has Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in it. Has, quote, this is what the idiot said. He has deep experience managing the most sensitive matters in America, the safety and soundness of the markets, and over $10 trillion at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I like a Freddie Big Mac. It's delicious. I eat a lot of delicious Big Macs. They're fantastic. A substantial increase from where he was just 12 months ago, the idiot wrote in a Truth Social post this morning. While he serves as acting director of National Intelligence, Pulte will remain director of Federal Housing Finance Agency, as well as chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Sorry. So this idiot's going to now have 3 jobs. Just think about this. This idiot. I want you to understand. I want to impress this upon you. It's not just that department, overseas. It's not just that it's our domestic intelligence agency, right? And that this guy will almost certainly abuse the powers of that agency and spy on Americans. It's inevitable that citizens are going to be actively spied on. It would be almost stunning and staggering if that didn't happen. That's going to happen. It's going to happen now. It will happen. But if you remember Joe Kent, he resigned. He was he was an extremist MAGA Republican by every stretch of the imagination. Fucking crazy. Borderline white nationalist. He had a little, you had a feel for him because he was a vet, and his wife he lost his wife in active duty. She was also a veteran, and a lot of that, as you kind of watch Joe Kent, and as I learned about him when he was resigning, actually. Although I found his politics abhorrent, and his racist perception of things abhorrent, I understand how he could have been radicalized based on his grief and his rage and whatnot. But irrespective, he was the top counterintelligence person under Tulsi Gabbard. It was his job to make sure, that we don't get. He was he was in charge of the agency gathering intelligence to stop domestic terrorists, to stop foreign terrorists, right? He resigned because of the Iran war, because he was like, this is fucking bullshit. But my point is that agency has that department in it, right? That agency is responsible not just for they're not just responsible for not spying on all of us, but they are responsible for protecting us. They're the ones who are supposed to know if some white nationalist sociopath plans to blow up a federal building, or if some foreign terrorist plans to fly a plane into the Pentagon again. Right? They are the ones that need to catch that shit. So this dunce, hey, Irish Shaggy, this dunce, who has no experience in this area whatsoever, who is a Trump lunatic, who has been actively doing absolutely nothing of value in his job at the Federal Housing Finance Agency, with the exception of, cooking up crimes, fake mortgage crimes for Trump's enemies like Letitia James, James Comer, Adam Schiff. That's what he's been doing. So this crazy fuck is now going to be the director, the acting director of national intelligence, and continue to keep his nothing job, which is a huge job, at the Federal Housing Finance Agency and the chairman of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. So this bozo is now going to have 3 jobs for the price of one of which makes him one of 2 intelligence chiefs on the president's cabinet. I mean, just wrap your brain around that just for a couple of minutes. I mean, it's funny. It's funny, but it's not. The Director of National Intelligence is a cabinet role that requires Senate confirmation, but naming Pulte in an acting capacity allows the president to bypass the process for now. It was not immediately clear if Pulte will be Trump's permanent pick for the job. And again, I don't know how long Trump can string this out. If it's 45 days, 120 days, I don't know, or less. Pulte has served as Director of Federal Housing and Finance Agency since March 2025 after being confirmed by the Senate 56-43. The 3 Democrats joined Republicans in supporting his nomination. Senators Angelina Ashbrooks of Maryland, which surprises me, Ruben Gallego of Arizona, not surprising me at all. He's in enough trouble himself right now. And Elissa Slotkin of Michigan. I'm sure all of them actually regret that decision, especially now. In his role leading the agency, Pulte has targeted Democrats whom Trump perceives as his political enemies. In March, Pulte made 2 criminal referrals against New York Attorney General Letitia James, alleging insurance fraud. Several months late after, Trump's Justice Department failed to prosecute her for a 3rd time. James's lawyer, Abby D. Lowell, called the allegations baseless. In May of 2025, Pulte sent a criminal referral to the Justice Department for Senator Adam Schiff of California, another Democrat against whom Trump has sought retribution. The probe into mortgage fraud allegations against Schiff, which he denied, ultimately stalled. Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, I guess that's the committee that will be overseeing this, slammed Trump's decision. Quote, "The concern is not only that Mr. Pulte lacks the extensive national security experience required by statute for the job, which was created after intelligence failures led to deaths of thousands of Americans on 9/11, it is that he appears to have been selected precisely because the White House believes he will provide the narrative it wants, not the intelligence we need." Pulte was chosen for his willingness to advance the idiot's principal political agenda rather than his experience. Warner did not say idiot. If you're not reading along with me, I said idiot. He said the president's. Saying that should worry Americans, so forth and so on. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't know what else to say about it, guys. Let's go to the next story. It's just, it's unthinkable. It's just unthinkable. But I want to move through today's stories fairly quickly. So let me hop to the next one. This is an underreported story now because it's not the biggest story, but it's one I want to share with you. So you can see this is NBC News. AOL was just re-reporting it. 30 gallons of fuel spilled on National Mall after America's 250th birthday. For America's 250th birthday. So here's what happened. There's what we were being told happens, and then there's what I'm pretty sure happened. So there was some event, I think it was like on May 17th, this 250 birthday of America, this celebration. I mean, what an embarrassment, right? Where, that this idiot is president for the country's 250th birthday, right? It's just, what a way to ruin it, right? And what a disgrace, what shame for America for its 250th birthday, right? So the idiot has his committee implementing all of these 250 birthday party events, right? And for him, it's a big birthday party, and it's all for him. It's a fun birthday party. It's Donald's birthday parties. It's not the 200, because, we got to celebrate him for America. That's what all of this shit is, right? And you've seen the outcome of what's it called? Freedom 250 or 250 Freedom is the name of his organization. He signed an executive order whenever creating this organization. Now, this organization has basically boxed out. In 2016, Congress appointed an organization that they called America 250. It was with actual competent people, event planners, people who know how to do shit. And they had been planning for years for America's 250 birthday celebration or anniversary of America, right? The celebration. And they planned events, and it was going to be beautiful events and really something to be proud of, something to celebrate our country with, the 250 years of our nation. But then the dumb fucks that is all of us, even though we didn't vote for them, but I'm talking about the communal all of us, not just us. We were dumb enough to vote this crazy shithead back into office. And he immediately wanted to box out this congressionally approved organization of competent people and put a bunch of morons, sycophantic, useless, MAGA nutcases in. So he signed an executive order that created Freedom 250, which was his group of dunces that were coming in and were going to do their best to box out the actual competent people and take over the planning for America's 250-year celebrations. And they were going to be Donald's celebrations. So, and you see how it's all going, right? The big, I'm sure you've all seen the news with the big concert, the 250 year concert, right? That was all of these bands. They were older. They weren't. There was nobody like. It's not like Beyonce was there or even any newer, younger pop artists. Like that. It was just. It was some good. There were some, good bands, but also some nonsense. Like it's like Milli Vanilli, but not actually Milli Vanilli. It was like Milli Vanilli tribute band. There was somebody from my day. He was really big. I can't think of his name. I can't. It's not coming. It's not coming. It'll come to me. He was big. He used to hang out with Prince and. He never became him and his band never became as large as Prince, but he was sort of in that group of musicians back in the 80s. I can't think, but anyway, it was just these older bands, right? Because that's all they could get, I think, during the era of Trump to perform. But now, so when it's been publicized, and it was clearly a political event. I mean, I don't know how the bands that were involved somehow didn't know it was a political event, but that started getting publicized, and that entire event has fallen because every single band, left in the last couple of days, just pulled out. Then the Village Idiot said, "Well, all right, well, we're not going to have bands. They're a bunch of losers. We're not going to have the losers. We're going to have a great time. We're going to do a rally. I'm going to give a speech. It's going to be fantastic. Instead of all the losers are going to not come. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be the greatest rally. I'm going to talk, and you're going to watch me speak. It's going to be fantastic," right? That was that thing like fell apart, right? Yeah, I don't know why I don't know. Kid Rock was never in it, Jordan. I don't think, and I don't know why. Morris Day and the Time. Thank you, Winifred. Thank you. That was it. Morris Day and the Time. So anyway, that's a disaster. The next disaster is the fucking UFC cage match, right? This abomination they're building outside the White House, right on the White House on the South Lawn, where these UFC fighters are going to make asses out of themselves. And remember when Village, there's going to be 100,000 people. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. It's like he's fucking Caesar, like stupid Caesar, sitting at the Coliseum, watching, gladiators tear each other apart, except it's the stupid Caesar, sitting with his rich friends. They can't fucking sell the tickets. They can't give them away. There's fourth. He said, the idiot says there's going to be 100,000 seats. It's a 4,000 seat stadium that's costing $60 million, right? Thank God that's not our money, at least as far as we know. But $60 million to build, and like they offered to give the seats for free to members of the military, except, and I shit you not, I'm sure you heard this, they said that they couldn't be fat, right? Right? They said, I can't believe this is real. I'm not making it up. Like they said, there's no fatties, right? No fatties allowed, right? You had to meet the military standards, right? You had to look good on camera for the jackass, right? So that, except what about the fatty that's the fucking president, right? But no fatties are allowed. Somebody from the White House, I don't know if it was the Defense Department or the White House said, but the military members that I think they, although they could get their tickets for free, they'd have to pay for their own transportation if they want to fly in for this stupid shit, right? So that is devolving into another PR disaster, and it's going to be. I would not be surprised if, and I will laugh, especially if the UFC, whatever his name is, Dana White, winds up, blowing $60 million. If they wind up having to scrap that because it's such a PR fuck up. But my point is that this confederacy of dunces, which is this America, this Freedom 250 or 250 Freedom, whatever it is, organization, is screwing up left and right. So today there's reporting, right, that they had some event. I think it was on March 17th, and somehow there was, some sort of oil that's used in the lights to light the event up. Well, someone fucked up, and the oil like leaked out of the lights and into, I guess there's these types of reservoirs under at the National Mall, like, and their job is, I guess, when there's water, there's overflow rainfall, these things like, I guess they catch that rain, that water, maybe that extra rain or that overflow, and maybe they avoid flooding on the National Mall or something. So these 30, at least in one of these 30 gallons of fuel spilled into, spilled out and seeped into this area, and there had to be an immediate, like, significant cleanup effort if they're even capable of doing it. I mean, who the fuck knows, right? So, nobody knew about it until they did, until the reporting came out today. And now the story is, and the media is buying it hook, line, and sinker, because they're reporting that it was vandalism, right? These vandals, we know where this is going, right? It's going to start as pretend vandalism, and then it's going to go to Antifa. And then when that narrative peters out, it's going to go, somehow it's going to be Biden's fault, right? And when that peters out, let's see, they're at vandalism now, keeping it very general. When that story gets cracked and MAGA influencers even start pushing back against the comical stupidity of that, the Village Idiot's going to try to get everybody worked up again, all his base worked up, and start using, it's going to be Antifa, and maybe fucking Bill Pulte now, since he's the DNI director, maybe the idiot will come out with Pulte, our fantastic acting director of national intelligence. He's fantastic. He's going to be looking into Antifa. I'm signing an executive order today, and we're going to find out. Pulte, you're going to do a great job, aren't you? Pulte is fantastic. I've known him for a long time. He's fantastic. I won the 2020 election. Biden lost. He used the auto pen. Pulte is fantastic. And Bill, Bill's going to find out. Get to the bottom. Antifa did it. It was Antifa that spilled the gas. I call it gasoline. It's not from Iran. We won the war. And that's next. So I'm just going to leave it there, guys. There's really, I don't even need to read the reporting. If you want to fact check me on it, I'm always encouraging you to do that. Just do a quick Google search, make sure we got this right. I didn't fuck anything up, because I really just wanted to give you the quick overview, and I just needed to do a bit of a short live this afternoon. Jordan, besides how insane that part is that makes him think he can be thinking about any of this at this point, you're absolutely right. It's lunacy. It's absolute lunacy. It's like, Jordan, there's like these different universes of Trump's fucking crazy mind, right? It's like there's the delusional universe of, we're winning the war in Iran, we're destroying them, we destroyed everything, the nuclear, they have no nuclear. They're never going to get nuclear. I destroyed the nuclear last summer. It was gone. But then we went back to destroy the nuclear.
and they're not going to have it. We're not going to allow it. The Strait of Hormuz is going to be opening in 10 minutes. The price of oil, price of gas is going to go down to 12 cents a gallon. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to love it. We're in the golden age, and I'm having an incredible fight. And then the other universe is this incredible UFC. I call it the Ultimate Fighting Champ. They're going to be there. It's a beautiful night. And I have the ballroom. It's fantastic. It's 250th birthday. I'm going to be giving an incredible speech. The losers all got out. They were afraid of the liberal lunatics. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? Like, I can't believe it's real, and it's 100%. It's all real, and how? Right? I mean, it's just crazy. Anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap it. We're gonna wrap it soon. We're gonna wrap it up quickly. The dog knows she's here. Here's Pixie. She knows that we're finishing up, so we're gonna finish it up. All right, guys, I love you. 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time. And in this instance, one live at a time. I am getting better at this, guys. When I do my recorded episodes, I'm going to say one episode at a time. Recorded lives, one live at a time. Let me just do a quick check on Twitch. I don't know if anybody's here. Twitch looks good, but there's nobody here. But that's okay. We're just getting started on Twitch, and I don't know what I'm doing yet, but at least I'm successfully streaming into the space. And, once I get my shit together, we'll start building a following there. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. Be well, everybody. Take care.